Because we've got the original director, producer of these films. This is Al Gannaway. And Al, this is really terrific stuff. Tell us about how you came to be a part of this.
Well, I went to Nashville in the 50s, having produced features in Hollywood, wanted to get into country music, and I got with Roy Acuff and Ernest Tubb and little Jimmy Dickens and Carl. In fact, those four people were the first I filmed at the Ryman. But the tapes that Larry's talking about, beautifully done, Larry. Those tapes over there are tapes that are not in this group because they were black and white. We gave those to the Hall of Fame. The ones that Larry's talking about, we shot them in Technicolor, which widescreen motion pictures, not the black and white.
We happen to have a piece of actual 35 millimeter film in Technicolor. Let's do a comparison, and what they'll see is the old versus the new of the time. This is the same film that they would shoot the movies of the day. Right?
That's right. In those days, as you look at this, you'll see that these pictures were shot in Technicolor for movies, theatrical, and not in those days we had to do film. But he'll show you a little bit of black and white like it was in those days, but this was the only series in Technicolor.
Yeah, look at that.
Not yesterday. Every step of the way, he chose the finest technology available. Let me show you what I mean. This is a piece of 16 millimeter film shot in black and white. And if you're old enough to remember television at that time, you know that everything was black and white. And the picture quality was just okay. Now, if you wanted to see color and excellent quality, you had to go to the movies. At considerable expense, Al Gannaway decided to shoot these performances like the finest Hollywood movies were shot then and still are today on 35 millimeter film. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the two. And of course, there is no comparison. When you receive your tribute tapes, every minute will look like this.
Yeah, it's really neat, Al. And so basically, ladies and gentlemen, if you call in and order those tapes, you're going to get the original 35 millimeter films of all the Grand Ole Opry stars. Now, Al, tell us, what else can you tell us about this incredible product?
You aren't going to get the 35 millimeter films, but what we're going to do is give you, we're going to send you videotapes. You're going to get, for your VCR, regular old color videotape, on tape instead of film. That's what you're going to get. Now, what else do you want? What do you want to ask me?
Okay, well, you know, now the new stars of today, Willie Nelson and all of them, they have some really neat testimonials. So we're going to take a look at what the stars of today have to say about the stars of yesterday.
Oh, that's great.
And so let's take a look at that here in a second.
Good.
You know, this is really incredible. This really is. I think this is a great.
Becoming a member of the Hall of Fame is the best thing that can happen to an entertainer. Because you know, you can get awards that are always appreciated, and but being a member of the Hall of Fame is like the ultimate.
And of course, that was Willie Nelson. What a great member of the Hall of Fame himself. I'm sure he was just breaking into the business about 10 years after you recorded
and Willie was celebrating these tapes by introducing us to 17 of the stars in the traditional period. Willie was introducing those 17 Hall of Famers that are in this collection that Larry was talking about a few minutes ago.
Oh, that sounds great. Actually, he's got a lot of footage that we can show you right now. It's a sample of some of the actual singing and playing and the different stars. So if you take a look at that, you'll get an idea of what you're going to get on this 12-volume collection. Of course, we can only show you just a bit of it, because there's many hours of stuff to take a look at if you call in an order.
Mom and Dad and me and my brothers and sisters and my uncles and my aunts, and everybody would gather around, bring their mandolin, their fiddle, their guitar, you know, and they would sing, and it was all a family thing. You had Webb Pierce, you had Ray Price, you had Ernest Tubb, you had Farron Young, you had Minnie Pearl, you had the Carter family, and Bill Monroe, and all these people, and they were on the stage at the same time. You know, they were all playing music, they were all having fun.
Wow, you know, Larry, this Al Gannaway, the original director-producer of this 35 millimeter films, he's 76 years old, and he's brought this out in a video collection that you can own, and it can only go up in value.
Exactly, and that's 76 years young, because this is going to make you feel young at heart. I mean, we saw Willie Nelson. He was inspired from these performances from the 50s. I mean, this is when country was king. To take a close-up shot of these videos one more time, I want to give you a list here of some of the people you're going to see performances of during this presentation. Performances from like Bill Monroe and Chet Atkins, Grandpa Jones and the Carter family, June Carter Cash, Ernest Tubb and the Texas Troubadours. We got Minnie Pearl are in part of these videotapes. Marty Robbins, what a classic performance guy he was. An incredible performance. Jim Reeves, Jimmy Dickens and the Country Boys, all involved in this. And we can take a close-up shot of this. We're talking about the tributes to the Grand Ole Country stars from the 50s. This is the comedy series of this. There's so many comedy bits on here. Stuff from Minnie Pearl. That's the lovely lady that always had the price tag hanging down from her hat. On the back here, it'll show you some of the different skits. Full, complete skits in living color. Now that's the neat part about this. As you know, 50s television, which mostly nowadays is held on kinescopes, all in black and white and shaky footage. However, this is preserved in living color, the same way that motion pictures like Gone with the Wind were shot way back then. And the only place you can get this complete 12 videotapes is by dialing this phone number. The tribute from the Grand Ole Opry stars. Now you see this is the toilet, all right? And we all know what that is, the porcelain goddess. When the toilet handle flushes, that means the presentation of this particular product is over. Other part, let's talk about this one. Now you're seeing this one says Marty Robbins, okay? Now Marty Robbins, not every bit of stuff is here is just Marty Robbins. Marty Robbins is, as a matter of fact, hosted this particular Nashville Sounds presentation of this particular part of the Grand Ole Opry, all from the 50s. Marty Robbins, who else can I show you here? How about Jim Reeves? This particular part, Jimmy Reeves, another incredible country classic, he hosted this particular part of the Grand Ole Opry's, and this one's entitled Memories. Remember country at its greatest. This is Larry Muzzy for the Down Home Shopping Network.
And thank you, Larry. Al, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on the show today. And I encourage you to get a hold of those tapes.